Day 1. They called it the fall. That's what the last radio broadcasts whispered before everything went dark. I don't know exactly what caused it. Was it a massive solar flare that fried the grid? A cyber attack from some forgotten enemy? An EMP detonated high above the atmosphere? Or something worse? Something we brought on ourselves? One moment, the world was alive, humming with the constant buzz of electricity. Screens glowing in every home, every office, every pocket. Cars rushing along highways like rivers of metal and light. Voices everywhere, laughing, arguing, connecting across distances that once seemed impossible. The next moment, silence. Total, deafening silence. No hum of refrigerators, no distant roar of airplanes, no flicker of streetlights pushing back the night. Just the wind, cold and indifferent, whistling through cracked windows and empty streets. My name. It doesn't matter anymore. Out here in the wasteland, names are just echoes of a life that no longer exists. Relics from a time when identity was tied to jobs, families, social feeds. Now, I'm just a survivor, one more shadow moving through the ruin. But if you're hearing this, if you've somehow found this recording, stashed on an old device or broadcast on a weak signal, then maybe you're like me, still breathing in this new world, still clinging to a thread of hope in the darkness. This is my diary, my log from the wasteland, not for glory or legacy, just to keep the madness at bay, to remind myself that I'm still human. I woke up this morning, or what I think was morning, in the ruins of what used to be downtown. The skyline I knew my whole life, of gone. Twisted metal spires where skyscrapers once stood proud. Glass shattered across the streets like frozen rain. Cars abandoned in eternal traffic jams. Doors ajar, as if their drivers simply vanished mid-step. No sirens wailing in the distance. No voices calling out for help or reunion. Just the wind, moving through the bones of the city like a ghost searching for his body. I lay there for a long time on the hard concrete floor of an abandoned apartment, staring at the ceiling cracks that looked like veins. My backpack beside me, the only constant companion now. I checked my supplies, a few energy bars scavenged yesterday, a half-full water bottle, my knife, a ferro rod, a small first aid kit. Enough for a few days if I'm careful. Not enough if I'm not. My first priority, the same as it will be every single day from now on, water. The human body can survive weeks without food, but without clean water, you're dead in 3 days. Dehydration creeps in slow at first. Dry mouth, headache, confusion, then it accelerates. Organs shutting down, delusions, collapse. I've read about it in those old survival manuals. Never thought I'd live it. I forced myself up, shoulders aching from the cold night. The air smelled different now. Metallic, dusty, with a faint undertone of smoke from distant fires that no one was putting out. I stepped out into the street, boots crunching on broken glass. The sun was rising, a dull orange ball through the haze, casting long shadows over the debris. I wandered for hours, avoiding the main roads where looters might still linger in the early day. Found a puddle in the basement of an old office building, rainwater that had collected through a broken roof and flooded the lower levels. It looked promising at first, a decent volume pooled in a corner, but up close, it was dark, murky, swirling with sediment and things I couldn't identify, floating bits of insulation, dust from collapsed ceilings, maybe worse. I couldn't risk drinking it straight, not on day one, not when strength is everything. So I did what I had to do, what I'd practiced in my mind 100 times before the fall, back when prepping was just a hobby dismissed by friends as paranoia. Here's how I purified it, step by step, in case you're out there doing the same. First, a crude filtration to remove the visible threats. I tore a piece of cloth from an old shirt I'd found in a desk drawer, clean enough cotton material, folded it several times into a makeshift filter. Then I scooped the water carefully with a discarded plastic bottle I'd cut in half, pouring it slowly through the cloth into another container I'd scavenged, an empty metal canteen from a forgotten gym bag. This step removes the big stuff, dirt, debris, leaves, anything floating that could clog your throat or stomach. It's not perfect, but it clears the water enough to see through faintly. Next comes the real danger. The invisible killers lurking in every untreated drop. Bacteria like E. coli, viruses, parasites that can twist your guts for days until you waste away. I needed to kill them all. I built a small fire right there in the basement corner, using broken furniture legs and paper files for fuel, rubble piled around for a windbreak. It took time, gathering dry material in the damp space, but persistence pays in the wasteland. Once the flames were steady, I suspended my metal pot, another lucky find, over the fire with wired rebar, poured the filtered water in and brought it to a rolling boil, big bubbles surging up for at least 1 full minute. I timed it with my old watch, the only thing still ticking reliably. That's the gold standard when you have fire. Heat above 100 degrees Celsius destroys virtually everything pathogenic. No survivors. If fire hadn't been an option, if fuel was scarce or smoke would attract unwanted attention, I could have fallen back on the Sodis method. Fill a clear plastic bottle with the filtered water, laid in direct sunlight for 6 hours, or 2 days if cloudy. The UV rays from the sun, combined with heat buildup inside the bottle, do the work. Simple, silent, effective in a pinch. But today, luck was with me. I had fire. And fire. Fire is life. More than warmth or cooking, it's a psychological anchor in this emptiness. Speaking of fire, getting it started in the first place with no matches, no lighter, no convenience store to run to, that's a skill I practiced obsessively before the fall. Back when people laughed and said I'd never need it. Thank God I didn't listen. I carry a ferrocerium rod and strike it in my pocket every day now. A small tool that feels like a talisman. Reliable even when wet. Lasts thousands of strikes. Here's exactly how I do it. Every time. Dry tinder is everything. The foundation. Without it, no amount of sparks will help. Today, in the basement, I scraped inner bark from a dead branch I'd broken off outside. Birch-like material. Fibrous and dry inside despite the damp. Shredded it fine between my fingers until it was fluffy, like natural cotton. Then built a small nest. The tinder in the center, surrounded by progressively larger twigs. Pencil size first, then finger thick, building up to thumb-size kindling stacked teepee style for airflow. Position everything in a protected spot. Kneel down, hold the striker firm, and scrape the rod at a 45-degree angle. Hard, fast strokes to shower hot sparks directly into the tinder core. Don't rush the strikes. Focus. Watch for the ember, that tiny orange glow catching in the fibers. When it appears, cup your hands gently around it. Blow softly at first, then stronger as it grows, nurturing the flame like something fragile and precious. Because it is. In the wasteland, fire means you eat hot food, purify water faster, signal if needed, ward off the cold that seeps into your bones at night. Tonight, as the sun sets on day one, that small fire is my warmth against the chill creeping through the concrete. It's light pushing back the shadows that feel heavier now. Security against whatever might lurk in the dark. And most of all, hope. A visible reminder that I can still create something in a world that's fallen apart. As the flames burn low, crackling softly like an old friend's voice, I think about tomorrow. And the days after. I need to move soon. Find better shelter than this basement. Higher ground, perhaps, away from flooding risks. Scout for more supplies. Canned food in abandoned stores before it's all looted. Tools, clothing layers for the coming winter. I dread. Maybe signs of others. Footprints. Smoke on the horizon. A voice answering back. But I have to be careful. In the early days of the fall, desperation breeds danger. People who were neighbors yesterday might be threats today. Mental strength. That's the hidden killer out here. Loneliness gnaws deeper than hunger. The silence presses in until your thoughts echo too loud. That's why this diary, speaking into the recorder, even if no one hears, keeps the isolation from swallowing me whole. But tonight, on day one, I'm alive. I have clean water in my bottle. I have fire dancing before me. I have shelter from the wind, and I have this voice, this record, to prove I was here. If you're out there listening to this somehow, know that you're not alone in the wasteland. We made it through the first day. We'll fight for the second. This has been my first full entry from the ruins. Until tomorrow, stay alive.